Last night, shocking news hit social media about the Minnesota Vikings team captain, Emerson Griffin.
News that was hard to read, but news we need to be talking about tonight. Because the news is this: Emerson Griffin is fighting with all of his might with health issues far more serious than a hurt knee. And police are saying those issues have to do with mental health. What struck me most as the news broke was one voice amidst all the others on social media. It was the voice, well, the tweet actually, of Paul Lambert, Meat Sauce, from KFan's Power Trip morning show. And it struck me because that tweet minced no words from one of sports' most powerful voices in the state. Paul read the news about Griffin online last night. The reports that Griffin suffered a breakdown, the reports that Griffin had been checked into a mental health facility. And then Paul read some of the tweets reacting to that news.
You see all these people who I know that are like, we're going to be 6 and 10. Who cares? Like, who cares about the football team?
This is bigger than football.
I live and breathe the Minnesota Vikings, but your mental illness or mental health and all that is way more important than the outcome of Thursday's game or the way that the season's going to go out or your fantasy football team. And I think some people just need to be reminded of that.
And so Paul reminded his massive sports fan base in one strongly worded tweet.
It had nothing to do with me going, well, I want to get in the middle of this. I don't care to get in the middle of it. I can get attention on my own. I'm luckily on a very powerful radio station. I don't need my attention through Twitter. But I thought somebody had to say something.
I think, unfortunately, we don't expect that out of sports radio, that you'll say his life is more important than football. Why would you do that?
They're human beings. Like, people forget that they're individuals. They have issues, and you go, well, who cares? They make millions of dollars. No. Millionaires, billionaires all have issues. In the big picture that is life, his mental health is way more important than the outcome of Thursday's game or, January's game, or if they make the playoffs or not. There's more to life than sports when it involves this.
Paul driving that conversation on Twitter matters because he and his friends on the KFan Morning Show drive the sports conversation in this state. For Paul to say Emerson Griffin's life matters more than a football game is a potential game changer to who talks openly about mental health issues.
People go, well, how can you feel sorry for a guy who lives on Lake Minnetonka and does all this stuff? But you can feel sorry for anybody. Everybody deals with stuff, no matter who you are, from, broke people to rich people. Everyone deals with something, and I just had enough of it.
Do you regret what you tweeted?
Never. I would tweet it again if I had to. And anybody who's offended by it needs to grow up. And I don't care if you're 4 or you're 50. Grow up. Don't come back at me that I pay a lot of money to go see him. I don't care how much money you pay to go see him. He's hurting. He's hurting as an individual. Think of his 3 kids. Think of his 3 kids wondering where their father is. That's way more important than you losing by 3 points because Emerson Griffin didn't get you 3 sacks in the game on Sunday.
Such an important voice in this conversation, and Meat Sauce was not alone. You've heard Chris Hockey talk on this show about his struggles with mental health. Others from KFan chimed in on Twitter to make it very clear that that team stands with the health of Emerson Griffin and not with the wins and loss columns. And I asked Paul, too, if they want to talk about it on the show tomorrow. If people call in and they want to talk about mental health, they'll take those calls. They'll start having this conversation on sports radio because it needs to be had there and everywhere. So It was just so refreshing to see it. And I know these are small wins, right?